Hey guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on an all new fat burner from Australian company THS Nutrition, makers of the world famous green tea X50. It is, of course, X50 Showtime in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. That nutritional information panel, way too shiny for my liking, sure as hell ain't going to get it done because we about to go balls deep in this here X50 Showtime. Luckily, got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Dilip, go ahead and throw that panel up on the screen so the viewers can play along at home. Starting from the top, a serving size of 5.3 grams. Got yourself about 60 of them 5.3 gram bitches in each tub of this X50 Showtime. In terms of what the 5.3 grams is made up of, we can do a quick summation, add up all of the active ingredients because THS have been kind enough to provide a fully disclosed nutritional ingredients panel. Quickly discover there's 4.11 grams of actives spread across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 active ingredients. It leads us to 77.5% actives and only 22.5% flavors, sweeteners. I will point out that that THS do not use any artificial colors or dyes in this X50 Showtime. So pretty damn good, especially for a fat burner to, you know, whenever we see a fat burner around that 20% non-active ingredients or flavors, sweeteners, and colors, if they use them, is a good start, a real good start. In terms of what those 4.11 gram 11 active ingredients are made up of, starting from the top, taurine, 1500 milligrams. Taurine, for viewers at home who are unaware, is an aminosulfonic acid. It improves muscular endurance, cardiac function, and boosts blood flow via vasodilation. Clinical dose of taurine, 500 to 2000 milligrams. We have 1500 milligrams. It is perfectly dosed. Interesting with taurine, we don't generally see it in fat burners, in fat loss supplements at all. It's much more common in pre-workouts, but I don't mind it in a fat loss formula, to be honest, especially the vasodilating side of it. I think definitely has benefits from a fat loss perspective. So kind of cool to see that as the first ingredient in this X50 Showtime. Moving right along, we then get into our fat metabolizer, acetyl L-Carnitine, in a 1000 milligram dose. This is L-Carnitine with an acetyl group attached to increase the bioavailability, and that acetyl group also crosses the blood-brain barrier to help with mental focus. Makes you feel real good when you're in that caloric deficit, otherwise feeling like shit. For viewers at home who are unaware, L-Carnitine is a fat transporter. It helps transport fat from fat cells into the mitochondria of muscle cells. We refer to it at MassiveJoes as a fat metabolizing ingredient. The efficacious dose of acetyl L-Carnitine is 1 to 2 grams. We have 1 gram, so it is towards the lower end of that dosing range, but we would still go so far as to say clinically dosed. Moving right along, we then get into a green tea leaf extract in a 500 milligram dose, which has been standardized for 50% polyphenols. One type of those polyphenols are catechins. Now, catechins increase glucose uptake to muscle cells, also work as a mild bronchodilator to decrease resistance in respiratory airways, to help increase airflow and effectively turbocharge your system, help increase your caloric output. Clinical dose of catechins, it doesn't really matter because although X50 are kind of halfway there, they've told us that it's standardized for 50% polyphenols, but there's a whole range of polyphenols, viewers at home. The one that we are really interested in from a fat loss perspective are the catechins, and it's not standardized for a specific percentage of catechins. So we really are not sure how many catechins we're getting for these fat loss benefits, these fat loss effects that we want. Moving right along, We then get into green coffee bean extract in a 250 milligram dose. Green coffee bean extract yields a chlorogenic acid, which is a glucose modulator. Helps reduce the release of glucose into the bloodstream and helps therefore regulate blood sugar levels. Also inhibits fat absorption and increases insulin sensitivity if it's dosed high enough. The clinical dose of chlorogenic acid is 50 to 100 milligrams. We don't know the standardization of this green coffee bean extract, but most of the time, to be honest with you guys, it's usually a minimum 20% chlorogenic acids. I don't think I've seen an extract that's used less than 20%, right up to like 50%. So if we take 20% of 250, we're at 50, which is towards the lower end of that dosing range. If we take 50%, we're at 125, which is actually overdosed. Either way, we're within or above that dosing range, so we would go so far as to say clinically dosed. Moving right along, we then get into quite a unique ingredient that is going to play out quite unexpectedly in the rest of this raw review. Stay tuned for that one. It's called Glucomannan Aka Konjac, and it's standardized for 90% fiber. So what konjac is a water-soluble dietary fiber. And because it's standardized for 90% here, we're actually getting 225 milligrams of fiber in each and every scoop of this X50 Showtime. It works I mean, konjac is interesting because they use it a lot in like noodles. It's used, it's very gelatinous. It's a water-soluble fiber, but very, very gelatinous. And it's, as a fiber, when it comes into contact with water, it like soaks the fucking water up and turns into like a gel, turns into like a jelly effectively. So really good for making certain types of foods. The reason why the THS have put this in X50 Showtime is because it does also have an appetite suppressing effect. Obviously, when this fiber hits the fluid in your stomach, it does the same thing. It forms this gel and kind of sits in your stomach and gives you like a feeling, I guess, of fullness, which can act as a little bit of an appetite suppressant. So effectively, the purpose of putting konjac in a fat burner is from an appetite suppressing perspective. Clinical dose, and this is kind of where it gets interesting, there isn't really a clinical dose. The more of it you take, the stronger the appetite suppressing effect is. Now we've got 250 milligrams standardized for 90%, so we've got 225 milligrams, but there isn't really, you know, I guess an effective dose. It's kind of like the more of it you take, the stronger the appetite suppressing effect is going to be, because it's going to form more of this gelatinous substance in your stomach and stay in there for longer and therefore make you feel fuller for longer. Moving right along, we then get into L-Theanine from Camellia sinensis, and this is the registered trademarked version of naturally occurring theanine called Theacalm in a 200 milligram dose. Theanine is a nootropic amino acid. It crosses the blood-brain barrier where it helps transmit nerve impulses in the brain to help improve your ability to pay attention and, more importantly, help mental focus. Got a little bit of synergism here between the L-theanine and the acetyl L-Carnitine, as you guys can imagine, as you guys can put the dots together. Also, theanine promotes relaxation without causing sedation and reduces the perception of stress. Does a pretty cool thing when it's combined with caffeine, and we're about to see caffeine in a second. It takes the edge off caffeine. Your clinical dose of L-theanine is 100 to 200 milligrams. We have 200 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it is very well dosed. Moving right along, we then get into caffeine anhydrous in a 200 milligram dose. Caffeine, of course, a central nervous system stimulant. It enhances physical energy, reduces fatigue, and boosts psychological performance. The tolerated dose, I'm saying tolerated for caffeine these days because really there's no real clinical dose of caffeine. Let's go, the tolerated dose is 200 to 300 milligrams. We have 200 milligrams. Towards the lower end of the dosing, but seeing, you know, a relatively low amount of caffeine makes me very happy, especially when it comes to thermogenics. Moving right along, we then get into Coleus Forskohlii root extract in a 100 milligram dose. This extract yields a compound called Forskohlii, which is responsible for increasing cellular levels of CAMP, aka cyclic adenosine monophosphate, which is going to increase the power of our heartbeat, whiten blood vessels, and therefore decrease blood pressure and increase the rate of fat loss. The clinical dose of Forskohlii to get these effects is 25 milligrams. Unfortunately, we don't know the standardization of this Coleus Forskohlii extract, and I'm not even gonna take a punt, because I have seen Forskohlii extracts like as low as 5% and then like as high as 90%. So I have no fucking idea how much Forskohlii this Coleus Forskohlii extract is yielding. Therefore, we can't really comment on whether it is or is not clinically dosed. We just know it's in there in some amount. Moving right along, we then get into Hygenamine hydrochloride in a 50 milligram dose. Hygenamine is a beta-2 adrenergic receptor agonist. It's going to relax smooth muscle, your lung in particular, and therefore works as a respiratory system relaxant, while simultaneously acting as a heart stimulant to increase the power of your heartbeat. The clinical dose of Hygenamine, 25 to 50 milligrams. We have 50 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it's very well dosed. Moving right along, we then get into our grains of paradise extract from the seed of the Aphramomum melagueta plant. Standardized for 12.5% 6-paradol, so we've got 30 milligrams of the extract. 12.5% of 30 is 3.75 milligrams, so we've got 3.75 milligrams of this 6-paradol. 6-paradol, a very cool ingredient, actually stimulates the transformation of white into BAT, or white adipose tissue, white fat, into brown adipose tissue, a brown fat. Triggers the activation of BAT to cause thermogenesis, and therefore increases whole body energy expenditure. The clinical dose to get these effects is 40 milligrams of 6-paradol. We only have 3.75 milligrams of 6-paradol, so unfortunately it is quite severely underdosed. Moving right along, our final ingredient is Cin Afrin Hydrochloride in a 30 milligram dose. This, similar to caffeine, is also a central nervous system stimulant. Going to increase your heart rate, also going to increase thermogenesis, lipolysis, and your metabolic rate, so it makes it a very popular ingredient in fat loss formulas. The efficacious dose of Cin Afrin is 20 to 50 milligrams. We have 30 milligrams, so it is smack bang in the middle of that efficacious dosing range. So we will go so far as to say it is very well dosed. Got yourself about 22.5% non-active ingredients, artificial flavors and sweeteners. And that's what's in it. So on paper, quite an interesting formula, quite a comprehensive fat loss formula. It does tick a lot of boxes that we look for when it comes to full spectrum fat loss supplements. Couple of things that it is missing definitely is something to directly assist with lipolysis, which is the use of fat as a source of energy. It'd be good to see like some CLA powder or maybe some hydroxycitric acid, something like that to assist with lipolysis. And then just because the grains of paradise is so severely underdosed, it'd be cool to see something else in there for thermogenesis, some Capsimax, Capsiatra, some sort of those pepper extracts that's just going to increase thermogenesis in combination with the grains of paradise and the Cin Afrin in there. But apart from that, I mean, we've got an ingredient for fat metabolism. We've got ingredients in there to help with glucose metabolism. It ticks a lot of boxes on paper when it comes to overall, fat loss supplementation. And a lot of those boxes, I mean, are ticked with clinical doses of these active ingredients, bar the fact that some of them are not standardized for what we need them to be standardized for, or we're not sure what the standardization is. A lot of the ingredients here are at least clinically dosed, if not over and above clinical dose. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in 3 flavors. Comes in, where is it? There it is, down the bottom. Zoom and focus action, please. Boom, pineapple mango flavor. Comes in strawberry kiwi flavor. Comes in, this one's a little bit left in the middle, sour gummy worm flavor. Infamous MassiveJoes takes and mixability tests are about to go down. I got a double wall glass. I got an extra big double wall glass here actually for the viewers at home. With a spoon, I've got my personal tub of the sour gummy worm flavor. It's actually called sour gummy, but there's a picture of a worm, so I'm going to go sour gummy worm flavor of this X50 Showtime. I'm I'm gonna take one scoop of this X50 Showtime. And in fact, while I'm taking this one scoop, did actually do the weight test on this scoop. Scoop is supposed to be 5.3 grams, is bang on 5.3 grams as a level scoop. So bravo THS for getting the scoop size exactly correct, which is particularly important when you're dealing with quite small dosed thermogenic fat loss formulas like this Showtime, because if you're out by like 20%, your stimulant intake can go from moderate to you can go from 0 to 100 real quick, you know what I'm saying? Let me take one scoop, 5.3 grams of this X50 Showtime. Throw this bitch in this bitch and let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist. I'm gonna show you guys how it mixes. Let me refresh my memory on how this X50 Showtime tastes, man. All right, I think that's enough. As you guys can see, we are starting to accumulate some sinkers down the bottom of this X50 Showtime. So much so that rather than time-lapse this, I've actually done some that I have. Here's some that I prepared earlier, viewers at home, just so I can show you what to expect if you're the sort of person like myself who mixes up their fat burner in a glass of water and then kind of sips on it over 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. You're not the sort of person that kind of mixes it and shots it straight away. I am the former. I like to enjoy and sip on my fat burner. If you let this X50 Showtime sit for too long, this is going to happen. It's going to completely separate out, and that stuff at the bottom, if you try and mix it again, let me just show you guys. If you try and mix it again, you have got no fucking chance of that shit mixing again because of, and I mentioned to you guys that the konjac was gonna rear its head again, and this is where it's rearing its head. Because of that konjac, that effectively, that stuff down the bottom forms a jelly, which does not mix at all. Here's one that I prepared much earlier, and I actually took out that top layer of water that was kind of sitting on top of this, just so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. This here is jelly. Can you see this? Can you see? Can I get some zoom and focus action, please? Look at that. I could actually eat this. I could actually eat it as jelly because that is that fiber. That is that konjac fiber going to work right there and effectively forming a little bit of a fat loss jelly. So let me firstly say, blender ball is required for this here X50 Showtime. Even more importantly, you have to drink it fast. So like, mix the shit up, don't let it sit, don't sip on the shit because it's gonna form that gel down the bottom and you're gonna end up eating your fat burner, not sipping on it. Mix it up in a blender ball, in a Team MassiveJoes Elite, in a TMJ Elite shaker, mix that shit up, blender ball is required, and then drink that shit fast to prevent it forming that jelly down the bottom. Back to the flavors. This is the taste test, by the way. I don't know if you guys are keeping up. It's interesting with this X50 Showtime because the initial flavors across all three flavors is really, really good. The sour gummy, really nice. Pineapple mango, great. Strawberry kiwi, great. And then the aftertaste hits you and it's like drinking dirt. to be honest with, there's no other way I can kind of put on, I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. It's really earthy. It's it tastes like drinking dirt. The aftertaste is really, really harsh, and you don't expect it when you take the first sip. The first sip is like, ooh, this is the shit. And then, oof, goddamn, what just happened? The flavor profile is really interesting because it comes on so hard and so pleasantly, and then it just fucking crashes, and it's a real earthy, active ingredient, dirt tasting aftertaste that you guys have to be aware of, because if you're not, it's gonna hit you like a fucking freight train. That being said, if I had to rank the flavors, for me personally, I think the pineapple mango is definitely a cut above the rest, and almost kind of, I think that the sour gummy definitely has the biggest aftertaste come through. The pineapple mango kind of hides it. The strawberry kiwi kind of masks it. The sour gummy, there's no masking it. It's like sour gummy, dirt. That pretty much that quickly as well. So if I had to rank the flavors, me personally, I go pineapple mango, strawberry kiwi, sour gummy. Just keep in mind that, you know, the flavors are pleasant, but you are going to get this real earthy, active ingredient, dirty aftertaste coming through once that initial flavor has worn off. In terms of the effects, because that's what you're taking this shit for, this thermogenic fat burner, this X50 Showtime. First and foremost, as I mentioned with all raw reviews on all fat loss supplements, you must be in a caloric deficit. If you are not in a caloric deficit, do not waste your time, effort, or money on a fat loss supplement, because it ain't gonna do jack shit for you guys. If you are in caloric deficit and you're looking at this X50 Showtime to push you further into caloric deficit and accelerate your fat loss efforts, it is going to do that very, very well. Couple of things that I'm gonna point out. The energy that you get off this X50 Showtime is really quite a nice experience. It's not stupidly high in caffeine like a lot of fat loss supplements on the market today are, 300, 350, 400 milligrams. That's really good to see. But the energy, because it's not just caffeine, it's caffeine combined with Hygen, Amine, and Cin Afrin, you've got this, you know, multiple matrix of different stimulants, is the energy does come on quite fast. And it is quite potent, but it's a very nice feeling of energy. It's not a rough feeling at all. It's very clean. It's very long lasting as well. You don't get like a crash, you know, an hour, 2 hours after taking it like you can with fat loss formulas that are just jam-packed with way too much fucking caffeine. So from an energy perspective, it is a real nice thermogenic to use. The appetite suppression is surprisingly probably one of the best that I've experienced on the market. I mean, if the biggest problem you have when you're dieting is your appetite's just out of control, this X50 is just gonna put an end to that straight up. I don't know if it's there's just not a lot of that fiber. I don't know how potent it is, but it's got to be the combination of the fiber with the green coffee bean. I'm not really, I can't pinpoint it, to be honest with you guys, but I'm going to say that it does have something to do with that fiber, because this is the first fat loss supplement I've seen it used in. And I think, in my opinion, this is one of the strongest appetite suppressing fat loss formulas that I've personally ever tried. So that is an effect that is, you know, far pronounced in this X50 Showtime compared to other fat loss supplements on the market. The thermogenic effect, unfortunately, is not really there, even though you do have the grains of paradise, the Cin Afrin, even caffeine, you get a little bit of a thermogenic effect from it. It's definitely not as pronounced as other fat loss supplements that are using full clinical doses of Capsiatra or Capsimax or grains of paradise in a full clinical dose. So the thermogenic effect, I mean, it's kind of beneficial, I guess, if you're the sort of person that doesn't want to be sweating buckets on your fat loss formula. You're not going to sweat buckets on this X50 Showtime. Generally speaking, a very comprehensive fat loss formula, especially considering the price, which I'm going to get to in a second. Before I go there, I just want to mention side effects. Even though it's not high in caffeine, it is still a very strong thermogenic fat loss formula. So if you are sensitive to stimulants, or you do struggle with stimulants, definitely start with half a scoop and work your way up. Stackability definitely can be stacked with the gaps that it's missing. So something to induce lipolysis, a CLA or a hydroxycitric acid, something to further increase thermogenesis, a Capsimax, a Capsiatra, as I've mentioned to you guys. It's going to stack real well with those. You could even also stack it with a little bit more acetyl L-Carnitine just to bump up the fat metabolizing effect. The one thing I wouldn't stack it with would be something that's got more stimulants in it. I definitely stack it with non-stimulant thermogenic or a non-stimulant lipolysis supplement or you know, a non-stimulant fat loss supplement that's going to kind of fill in the gaps of what this X50 Showtime is missing. The final thing, as I mentioned to you guys, the price and value for money. And this is really where you kind of weigh this formula up and you go, this is, you know, this is quite impressive. In the Australian market, your 60 serve tub retails for $69.95. It is a true 1 scoop per serve, 60 serves in this tub at $69.95, which makes it $1.17 per serve. I mean, I think if not one of the best, it would have to be the best value for money, considering how much it costs and the quality of the formula and the dosages used in the formula, and the fact that they actually tell you the fucking dosages in the formula, which a lot of popular fat loss supplements don't. I think it's got to be, if not the best, definitely one of the best value for money fat loss supplements on the market today. And guys, if you're in the market for an amazing value for money fat loss supplement that is going to get you some real nice energy, going to tick a lot of the boxes when it comes to thermogenic fat loss supplements, going to completely crush your appetite and doesn't taste that bad, let's be honest, you gotta get yourself some of this THS X50 Showtime, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all-new X50 Showtime in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.
Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.